everyone, this is ZeroRaptor coming back at you, and for today's episode of ZeroRaptor Reacts to Transformers, I'm featuring my pet iguana. He's a green iguana. I don't know if he's male or female right now, but right now I'm just calling him a he because he's being a butt. And before you guys go out and get yourself a green iguana because he looks so cool, keep in mind this is not his full size. I mean, he's a nice size right now, but at full adult size, depending on whether he ends up being male or female, a female green iguana will go up to like 3 to 4 feet long, which is that's a sizable reptile. But if it turns out he's a male, they go for a lot bigger, about 5 to 6 feet. So that's about a couple meters for our international friends out there. So I do not recommend you getting a green iguana unless you have the space, which is at minimum 6 feet by 6 feet by 3 feet. That's the minimum enclosure. Bigger, of course, is more ideal. So if you can't even provide a 6 feet by 6 feet by 3 feet enclosure, do not get one. Not only that, they've got pretty bad attitude. Like, right now he looks calm, but it took me several months to tame him down. When I first got Gojira, he was pretty wild. I think he was probably wild caught. I got him as, I guess you could say, toddler, because he wasn't quite a hatchling, but he wasn't quite a juvenile. This is juvenile. This is a juvenile size. Yeah, something to keep in mind. You're basically housing a velociraptor. If you cannot house a velociraptor, do not get a green iguana. I have a green iguana because I do have the space, and I have the time and energy to devote to taming him. So yeah. Anyways, onward to the episode. We're on to episode 6 now, right? I know it's been like a couple of weeks since the last episode, which is episode 5. To recap, let's see, the first 3 episodes was basically like how the Autobots and Decepticons came to Earth 4 million years ago. I still don't know how they decided to come up with that timeline. And then after 3 episodes in, Autobots have earned the favor of the governments of the Earth, which is pretty impressive for an alien species. Decepticons set up shop under the ocean. And then we've got introduced to 2 recurring human characters. We got Spike, teenage Spike, and his dad, Sparkplug. I don't think they haven't revealed his real name. I don't know, maybe his dad might be like a child of the hipster 70s, so like he's got the hippie name Sparkplug for that reason. I don't know. That's the only reasoning I could see for that kind of name. And then episode 5 we got introduced to some scientist dude. I don't really recall his name. He was probably in it for like 30 seconds of the entire episode, and then we got introduced to Kid in a Wheelchair, Chip. I don't even know if he's going to be a recurring character, because it doesn't seem like he'd be a recurring character, but he seems to have a lot of like he teamed up with Prowl somehow remotely. I guess he took control, or like he got access to Prowl's like optics and stuff, so he was able to like guide him through his fight a la Matrix or something. Like he uploaded some combat program, I don't know. And then there's this one scene where like Chip straight up like rips apart an Apple II floppy disk, which, I mean, yeah, they were flimsy pieces of plastic, but they do not rip up like paper like the way he ripped it up in the episode. So that I don't know how that works. So I think that's about it for the first 5 episodes. Okay, so I guess if you're ready, unless you just want to crawl onto my computer and mess things up, or do you want to eat my computer keys? Yeah. Okay, so let's get started with episode 6 of the Transformers.
Factories are busy manufacturing weapons to be used against the greatest threat the world has ever known. super powerful robots, Decepticons.
If you can use your computer skills to step up our efficiency chip, we'll be able to double our weapons output.
I'll give it a try, sir.
Wow, this kid has a lot of clout.
Decepticons.
You would think these factories would have a bit more security, or if that's the best security they can muster, that's a little disappointing.
Look out behind you!
Wait, isn't that supposed to be Skywarp? Why does he have Starscream's colors? Oh, okay.
Nothing we can do to stop
Okay, that's... Is he a chameleon now? Is that it? Is Skywarp a chameleon? Like, not only can he warp, but he can, like, change his color scheme to be, like, Thundercracker or Starscream.
Decepticon space bridge will show up next. I'm afraid not, Ironhide. I've scanned the area where the bridge first appeared, but my readouts came up to 0.
We might as well head back to Autobot headquarters, Prime.
Wait, a distress signal from Chip Chase at the munitions plant. Decepticons attacking.
Is this all happening in Area 51? Because they always seem to have these factories and stuff in, like, the middle of a desert.
I wonder if I'll ever get used to that.
There it is, Starscream. Every last micro spark of energy we could wring from the place.
I'm afraid your button
Kind of weird that
pushing was
Sparkflick
too
would say that he doesn't know if he'll get used to it. He's been with the Decepticon for how long? Or Autobots for how long now? He's like, yeah, I like being spies, but I can't get used to them transforming. I don't know, is it Starscream or is it supposed to be Skywarp or Thundercracker? Because they can't seem to decide if they want to, like, color him purple or not.
As you command, Megatron. But surely you wish to commend me for my efforts. After all, I was... Autobots.
Wait,
The Autobots wouldn't let me down.
was the camera on top of the Energon cubes?
Very perceptive.
How would he get that?
You outnumber Prime 3 to 1.
Where are these cameras?
Destroy him.
I don't understand.
Alter attack angle.
That's not how lasers work, but okay.
Affirmative, but keep back.
I'd rather bash Prime one-on-one, but when Megatron says, Thundercracker, gang! You blew it, Thundercracker, but I won't.
Oh, they actually got his color right.
Skywarp.
Optimus, watch out! That's a heat-seeking missile! Optimus! The computer!
Why is he the only one there? Doesn't he have backup?
Hit him with everything.
Unidentified vehicles approaching.
Autobots!
Starscream, do not fight them. Escape with the Energon Cube.
I mean, why would Optimus take him on by himself instead of waiting for, like, backup?
You can't, Ironhide!
Dang it, Optimus.
Help Optimus Prime!
You're more reckless than Cliffjumper.
happened to you, Prime?
Badly
Whoa.
damaged.
What happened to the
Losing
quality there?
Energy rapidly. Wheeljack, can you repair me?
I hope so, but not here. Can you still transform?
I'll try.
So, was he overheating?
Fused.
Whoa!
Mobility limited. Part replacement.
That size disparity, dude. Technically, he should have taken out the whole platform.
He's gotta make it.
I don't know. He got hit real bad.
Hey, lighten up, you guys.
Oh, he only got like 3 seekers on his butt. Wow, they really upgraded their base. Jeez. How many Decepticons are there? And they already built that entire little village?
He has been permanently deactivated. We saw him fall.
Fallen, yes. But can you guarantee his laser core was extinguished? I must be certain.
Ah, laser core. That must be
Laser beak.
Sparks before Beast Wars introduced that concept.
Come to me. Fly to Autobot headquarters and learn the true condition of Optimus Prime.
I think Laserbeak's chicken.
He'll have more to fear if he refuses to obey me. If Optimus Prime's laser core was in fact extinguished, we shall destroy the accursed Autobots, and none shall stand between us and our conquest of the universe.
Really, Braun?
I don't know, fellas. It looks bad.
Excellent.
What's your diagnosis, Ratchet?
It's a miracle that his hydraulics are still functioning.
Weaker. Electro pulse fading.
He's doomed. I know it. I can feel it in my data bank.
Nuts to
Wow,
that.
so
There's
pessimistic.
gotta be something we can do. Isn't there, Dad?
I don't know, son.
Now, Laserbeak, finish him off.
What the? It's Laserbeak! Stop it!
He started some kind of chain reaction inside Optimus Prime.
Get back, everyone! He's going to explode!
Wow, that is the most effective assassination I've seen from a villain, like, period.
We now return to the Transformers.
I don't think I've ever seen any other cartoon where, like, they friggin' took him out while he was, like...
Everybody okay?
We're fine, Dad. What about Optimus Prime?
Functioning, but energy draining fast.
What the
Don't
heck?
like that anymore.
Jeez, Optimus is like a friggin' cockroach.
Out before his energy drains away completely. Not long, unless I can replace this. A Cosmotron. I have an extra one of these.
I would hope you do, since it's kind of a medical
The Cosmotron
thing.
I'm talking about's in my
Or I
own
mean,
workshop on
do
Cybertron.
Cybertronians do, like,
And
organ
to make matters
donations?
worse, the Decepticons put a computerized lock on the door.
I mean, I would assume there would be some
I just knew.
parts
We
that
got
they can,
ourselves a
like,
computer whiz who might
interchange.
be able to get some of us through that door.
Sounds like I've just volunteered to pick a lock. Well, what are we waiting for? I always wanted to visit another planet.
Yeah, never mind if you can breathe there, but okay.
Optimus Prime leading them. The
Wait, whatever happened to Spike wanting to go visit Cybertron? Why is Chip, like, volunteering to do all this stuff?
Really good strategy.
We attack when I so order, Starscream. Come in, Shockwave. Acknowledge.
Hail, Megatron!
When will the space bridge materialize?
Within 72 billion astroseconds at these coordinates.
Broadcast visual representation. Excellent, Shockwave.
Yes, that narrows it down, because, you know, forests only occur in one part of the world.
The next space bridge.
But Optimus Prime didn't use the greatest detective on Earth, Teletran 1. By feeding Teletran 1 all the data we have about the space bridge's last appearance, I might get it to predict where the bridge will appear next. Hey, just like
But it's
Sherlock
only
Holmes with
appeared
floppy disks.
once. How would you calculate that? Like, maybe if the bridge appeared, like, at least 3 to 5 times, then you could probably predict that. But
Clumsy clunker. Hey, who you calling clumsy, gasket breath? My talents are wasted on this project. I should be in sole command of everything. Ready, Starscream. Hey, I think
Wait,
we need a
there's
driver to hold this
4 of them?
space bridge. We do.
I counted that right? There's like 3 of the camera Decepticons, and there's that one next to Starscream.
Have a nice journey, warrior. Say hi to the old gang on Cybertron.
I'm confused. What Decepticons are on Cybertron? Because all I've seen is Shockwave.
Shockwave to Megatron. Energon cubes received.
And 1 camera Decepticon.
You and Teletran are some hot team. You found the space bridge.
Wow, impressive indeed.
Autobots, Tresham.
Battle time.
And there goes the quality again. Well, I mean, cartoons from the 80s didn't really think about future-proofing their stuff, so can't really complain about that.
Don't split that, right? The party's just starting. This ought to shake you up.
What a sorry sight for sore eyes.
Starscream, wait! The rain has given me an idea. Let the Autobots win. Do as I say.
Wait, he turned into Thundercracker for like a second. Did the camera Decepticons just merge
Return to headquarters
into one?
immediately for further orders.
That looked weird. Like, what'd he do? Sorry, I didn't get that black Autobot's name. I saw Ironhide and... What? Okay, it's Ironhide, Jazz, Bumblebee. Who's the black dude?
Some liquid nitrogen should cool things off.
Wow, convenient.
Can't move. We're stuck.
Megatron speaks. Security on Cybertron has been breached. Destroy all intruders with rain. Acid rain.
We gotta get
Wait,
into
who are
the
those
actual
seekers?
workshop.
Or do they not matter?
I know you can do it.
There's one last sequence I can try.
Oh look, Chip can breathe on the atmosphere.
Now, if my detectors can only find that Cosmo whatchamacallit. Was that fast enough?
I guess Cybertron has oxygen too.
Back to Optimus. Acid rain. If it hits our circuits, we're goners. And so is Optimus Prime.
Never mind the kid who can also get, affected by acid rain.
We failed, Chip. We failed.
The Transformers will return after these messages. We now return to the Transformers.
It's all over, Chip. All over. All over for them. For us, it is just starting.
Wait, shouldn't Chip's wheelchair be like degrading too?
Autobots are without their mighty leader,
Along with him.
and 4 of their number have been vanquished.
Pretty sure acid rain affects organic peoples too.
We attack their base now while we have the advantage.
For one, Starscream, we agree. And I shall personally lead the assault.
What was that? The Starscream has like energon fists?
To begin.
Or was that like a cosmetic thing?
What's the verdict, Wheeljack?
We've done all we can, Sparkplug. Optimus Prime needs a new Cosmotron, and if we don't get one soon, all hope is lost.
Can't someone do an organ donation?
Onward to victory! No one can defeat us now!
We can't fail. Optimus Prime, our worlds, the whole universe depends on us.
Failed chip, acid storm, disabled circuitry.
That's
No,
not
he's
how
never
acid
really
rain
disabled
works.
as long
It
as
just
he has courage.
Well, guys,
wait. Prowl's
do we quit
with them?
or fight?
Maybe I still have enough power left to shield us from this killer rain.
Way to go, Trailbreaker. Now
Oh,
your
that's
automatic repair systems
Trailbreaker?
can Put you
I-
back in shape.
This one had a different color.
I'll take care of our 3 raiders.
Wait, I thought Jazz was with
I
them.
never
Did he
like
just suddenly
road,
become Prowl?
acid, or otherwise.
I'm really feeling better, like I just stepped off the assembly line.
All right, let's stop talking and save Optimus. Transform and roll for his life.
I'm
Strain your legs.
very confused.
The fools, they're back. They'll never reach Earth as functional mechanisms.
I guess this means Spike could visit Cybertron whenever, because I guess Cybertron has oxygen.
Phew. But we still have to get the Cosmotron to Optimus Prime. How fast can you go, Bumblebee?
Hold on to your teeth.
You're not Irby.
I'm sorry, Spike. Sometimes nothing you do makes any difference.
Optimus Prime.
But he hasn't been doing anything.
Alarm. We're being
I mean, compared to Chip, Spike has been kinda useless so far.
We're doomed. Without Optimus Prime, we're no match for the Decepticons.
We can't go down without trying. Prime would want us to go for it, no matter what the odds. Well, are you with me? Or do I fight this battle alone?
Son, you can't. But we
I think he's like lost his marbles there. Someone slapped Spike's.
Wheeljack and I'll stay here to guard Optimus Prime.
roll for it.
Shouldn't one of those race cars be Sunstreaker?
Enemy's location, Hound?
Radar scope detects Decepticons in close proximity, Huffer.
Forget the radar, here they come.
How is
All right,
Spike supposed?
guys, let 'em have it.
I guess he can shoot it, even though that thing should give one heck of a kickback.
You can't hit all of us at once, Earth-germ.
He could if you guys turn to a camera.
Ravage, bad kitty.
And Spike proves how useless he is.
We're expending too much energy. We must conserve.
Then I will end this charade now.
Chip, did you get the Cosmotron? Yeah. I just hope it's not too late.
There's still time for us to see some action.
But not for long.
What are you worried about? Why don't you guys fly?
We are victorious. Is there any anyone in the universe who'll challenge the might of Megatron.
There is one Megatron. I, Optimus Prime, challenge you.
Optimus Prime?
He lives?
Our leader's back.
Geez, so many pessimists.
The battle code
Good
requires
grief.
you to engage him in combat alone.
Then
What?
it's
They have a
just
battle
the
code
two
now?
of us, Megatron.
Why did this not matter with previous episodes?
Use too much power against the Autobots. I need assistance.
How unfortunate. If you cannot fight your opponent yourself, you are not fit to be our leader. I am the only suitable leader anyway.
Wait, why is...
Megatron, do you yield?
Yield for now. Only for now.
Retreat and take our leader back for repairs.
I guess that takes care of the Decepticons. They'll be back. I just know it. They'll be back.
You still did nothing, Spike.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Although you're still a little bit more useful than Sam from Bayformers, but not by much. Did you enjoy that, Gojira? Or were you too busy trying to mess up my desk? I know what you're thinking. But yeah, so surprisingly, I see Chip has become part of the human cast. Sparkplug, I mean, I get that they're trying to make him like part of the medic team of the Autobots, but I really don't see him being all that useful. Same with Spike. Like, I mean, Spike did take up arms, despite the weapon being a bit too big for him. But I mean, he finally did something besides just like be a hostage or whatever. And of course, Chip, like he's been doing a lot more than Spike. The human cast hasn't really been, I guess they didn't really think them through. They just kind of threw them in there just so kids have like a human character to attach themselves to, but I don't know. So far they've been just mostly useless aside from Chip. And even then it's like Chip only does most like technological parts. He doesn't really participate in the combat all that much. I mean, like he's a good saboteur. I don't know, I feel like Chip is a stronger member of the human cast. And Sparkplug and Spike are just kind of there. It's a weird choice. I would like to see a bit more variety in the human cast, but I mean, this is the 80s. They didn't really put a lot of thought into the cartoons all that much. And again, I can't keep track of these Transformers. And I'm like, I thought trying to keep track of Bayformers was bad, but it's like I'm trying my darndest to like follow like who's who, and like when they were going to Cybertron, like I could have sworn that was Jazz, right? Like he had a black head, and then all of a sudden he had a crest, and I was like, wait, that was Prowl the whole time? And then Jazz ended up being back at base, so I'm like, okay, I have no idea who's who anymore. And then you see Skywarp and Starscream, like Skywarp's constantly got like Starscream's color scheme, and then at one point he had Thundercracker's color scheme. So I'm like some of these shows, they need like someone who's like the continuity editor, just to like go through and be like, hey, this character is supposed to be this character, right? So why do they have this other character's color scheme or whatever? It's oddly to say, like if this is what Bayformers based the core concept of Transformers on, I mean, I hate to say it, but Michael Bay got it right. It's like it's really hard to follow which Transformer is which aside from Optimus and Bumblebee. Like every other Transformer pretty much just blends into the show. You can't really follow who's doing what. and it's just like all a mishmash of different colored bodies and stuff just doing stuff in the show. In that regard, Bayformers is pretty accurate to the original cartoon, as much as I don't want to say it. It's like it's pretty much just product placement, like Soundwave becoming the Walkman. Back then they did have Walkman. Now that I think about it, they did have Walkman with speakers because I actually have one. It's like a little black Walkman. It's got a headphone jack, but on the back side of it there's like this little speaker. It's not a great speaker, but it's like the closest thing to a mini boombox back in the day. And then you got the little boombox, and you got the big one, and I actually have one of like cassette CD player boombox. Oh wait, it's over there now. I mean, it's kind of interesting because I'm not watching this through rose-colored glasses or nostalgia like other people, and like seeing this through like the eyes of someone who's in her 30s is like, oh, this is a lot different. Well, I mean, of course things are going to be a lot different from what you remember. Like Beast Wars, I don't remember too much of it, but I do distinctly remember the episode where, spoiler alert, Dinobot dies. I distinctly remember that, but like I can't recall too much of the episodes where the Maximals and the Predacons came across the Ark, where the bodies of the Autobots and the Decepticons were. Like I remember Megatron was sitting in a chair, and then Predacon Megatron like took his spark. Like I remember that, but that's not what you see in the cartoon. And you see in the cartoon, like when they landed on Earth, they were all in pieces, and they didn't get put back together until like 80s Earth, which doesn't make sense in the timeline of Beast Wars. So I can understand now why like fans of the original cartoon were a bit upset with Beast Wars, because it did, like, even from the onset, Maximals and the Predacons finally encountered the Autobots and Decepticons. It was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. The Autobots and Decepticons weren't like that in the original cartoon. Like, they were presented much differently when they were discovered on the Ark. But given that the Autobots and Decepticons were on Earth for a good 4 million years, like, that is within Beast Wars timeline, but it doesn't line up. But then again, like it could be like an alternative universe where things were a little different, but I don't know, that just makes it more confusing. Like if Beast Wars is supposed to be a follow-up to the original cartoons, like why would you make it all that much more complicated? Because then it's going to be harder on you to like try to line everything up when things already don't line up in the cartoon. And I mean, I get it that they had like a bunch of different studios work on Transformers. I mean, you had Marvel Productions, then you had like the Dreamwave Comics, and you got all these other different Transformers media that just, like every time they try to come up with a new Transformers media, they're always trying to reboot it. And it's like, when you're constantly rebooting the franchise, you didn't really establish much of world building in the original Transformers either. I mean, okay, maybe I'm just being presumptuous because I haven't touched on season 2 just yet. Season 1 is just starting on that stuff. But I'm like we saw right there, like they call it like a laser core, where in Beast Wars they changed it to a spark, which is the soul of a transformer. So like they couldn't even decide on a set lore for Transformers. So of course people are just gonna, every studio that touches Transformers, they're going to make up their own thing. And then you got the aligned continuity where Hasbro tried to make like a canonical timeline, but even then, like that doesn't line up either. It's like no one can figure out how to combine everything into one cohesive timeline. That's why I've stayed away from the Transformers cartoons for like the longest time, because I realized that there's like so many different continuities and they all have really cool stuff, but it's like they're not all connected, so it's really hard for me to like get myself immersed in their world compared to like Gundam. Like they have their own timelines, but like every anime that's part of a certain timeline, like Universal Century or After Colony Century, like they all line up. They made sure the stories lined up in their timeline. Whereas Transformers, they're just kind of all over the place. I mean, that's why a lot of people caught on to anime when it first got introduced to the States and around the world. It's just like anime was just more consistent in that regard. So you can write fan art and do all this like fan media for it, and it could line up whichever way you want. But then it's like Transformers and My Little Pony, like they all have these different continuities and timeline, and it's really hard to make fan media for it because then it's like you have to pick a certain continuity, and I don't know, maybe your idea might have been used in another continuity, and it just gets all messy like that. That's the end of my rant for now. I think Gojira is kind of like, I'm done with this. Let me just go explore. So until next time, I don't know if I'll have Gojira for another episode of reaction because he doesn't like to sit still, and he kind of took a bite out of me earlier. Yeah, I did not appreciate that. So anyways, until next time, I don't know when the next episode would be, but hopefully soon. Bye bye.